Welcome back to Comics with Drew. It's Drew. Well, I would hope so. Yeah, welcome back to Comics with Drew. I am Drew, and this is another edition of Comics with Drew in the car. And this is a special edition because I'm driving home from watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And it was okay. I mean, I would probably put this like a mid-range tier Marvel movie. As an MCU movie goes, it wasn't really all that spectacular. I mean, the effects were awesome, top-notch. The acting was great. The best part about this movie are the cameos. So anybody who knows anything about Sam Raimi knows that Sam Raimi loves him some Bruce Campbell. They go way, way, way back. So there's some awesome Bruce Campbell moments in the film. So definitely stick around to the end if you want to get the full experience there. But what I really want to talk about is not so much Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What I really want to talk about is the Fantastic Four. Now, I just bought the Volume 1 Omnibus of the Fantastic Four, and I did that because I just got done buying the Jack Kirby Fourth World, right? Well, Jack Kirby, if you're not familiar, Jack Kirby invented the Fantastic Four as well, along with Stan Lee, allegedly. So, yeah. But anyway, so the Fantastic Four are a lot like Spider-Man used to be. So nobody could seem to ever get the idea of how you would do a Spider-Man movie correct until Sam Raimi, of all people, nailed it. And ironically, I think Sam Raimi may have nailed the Fantastic Four. So I think maybe we owe a lot to Sam Raimi on the basis of just how well he actually deals with characters from Marvel that seem to be stuck in limbo. The original Fantastic Four movie, and I don't mean the 1990s one that was an ash can, but the one from the mid-2000s was okay. It was a passable superhero movie, and I think the problem was that it came out kind of early in the big boom of superheroes. And so they were still trying to figure out the best way to do these things. And the sequel was lackluster. We'll just put it that way. Now, I was never really a big fan of those films. I did love the casting for Reed Richards with, I believe it's Ian Grufford is how you pronounce his name. So I'm not entirely certain. Yeah, that's a running gag for me. I'm not entirely certain how to pronounce people's names in my videos. But that was a great casting for Reed Richards, in my opinion. But the effects just weren't quite what we'd like them to be. And I think Sue Storm was a bit miscast. And Chris Evans was okay as the Torch. And was it Michael Chiklis was Ben Grimm. And those movies were okay, right? So the thing is, no pun intended, the thing is that the Fantastic Four were, optioned by Fox. And Fox didn't quite know how to deal with it. They did a pretty good job with the X-Men films, but then they started going wildly off the rails with those. And they were starting to make Fantastic Four movies to maintain the theatrical rights or the film rights to continue making the movies. And so that's what brought us to that abomination called the Fantastic Four by Josh Trank. Now, Josh Trank, if you don't know, Josh Trank is an asshole. Josh Trank is kind of like Rian Johnson in the fact that Josh Trank antagonizes the fan base for the IP he's tasked with making a movie about. So, I love Michael B. Jordan. But you know what? Michael B. Jordan is not Johnny Storm. And it's stupid to race swap Johnny Storm when Johnny and Sue are brother and sister. Okay? It's dumb. In fact, not only is it dumb just for that reason alone, it's dumb because the Fantastic Four are one of the greatest superhero groups or comics in the history of the medium. And what you want to do is just make a movie that respects the Fantastic Four. Now, I'm a big fan of John Krasinski, and if you've ever watched him in A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2, you know that he has the gravitas to pull off a role like Reed Richards. And so when he shows up in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as Reed Richards, I think he's crushing the role. He's doing such a fantastic job. He's thoughtful and caring and empathetic, and that's what you're looking for. And I think Sam Raimi, in getting Krasinski to play this version of Reed Richards in a different multiverse, is awesome, and Marvel would do very, very well to lock down John as Mr. Fantastic. And it would be even better if they could get Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm. That would be awesome. I would love that casting of Reed and Sue. That would be amazing. So thank you, Sam Raimi, for casting John Krasinski in this film. And hopefully, I know it's difficult to hope against hope that Disney will get their heads out of their asses and finally get something right again. But, the idea that John Krasinski could be cast for, the new Fantastic Four movie, which they've announced, would be amazing. So we'll see what goes on. As far as the Multiverse of Madness is concerned, like I said, it's an all right movie. You can take it or leave it. I don't think it's really all that important. I think America Chavez is kind of a dumb character and a useless character, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think that, centering the movie really around her is kind of, I think, weak. I think it's a weak point in the film, personally. But, your mileage may vary. Maybe you'll like it, okay? It's not really my jam. But back to the Fantastic Four, I really want the Fantastic Four to be awesome. And in the wake of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's main Avengers situation being over, what Marvel really needs to reinvigorate it is a top-tier A-list kind of hero situation. And what better way to do that than centering it around the Fantastic Four? So if you don't think that that's successful, just look at the success of The Incredibles. So yeah, The Incredibles are cartoon, but basically The Incredibles are really a form of the Fantastic Four. Really, that's what they are. So what we really need is just a great, excellent Fantastic Four movie. And if they can nail that, then that will be a great anchor for the MCU going forward. And that's really what they ought to focus on. So I've not read the Fantastic Four Volume 1 Omnibus that I just told you that I bought. I am waiting till I finish reading The Fourth World. But I will tell you this, I am super pumped up about it. And if John Krasinski is actually, in fact, the Reed Richards going forward, that will be an amazing thing. So that's actually the best news I can report about Doctor Strange is that cameo. There's some also really awesome cameos in the film. If you are a fan of Sam Raimi's movies, especially his horror movies, keep a sharp eye out for Ash's card. It does show up. I'm not going to tell you where, but blink and you'll miss it, all right? It's going to happen towards the end of the movie. I'll put it that way. But anyway, it's a great cameo. The Bruce Campbell cameo is awesome. The Doctor Strange movie, I will give 3 stars out of 5. It's an all right movie. It's really heavy on the gore and the zombie stuff. It's a lot like Sam Raimi, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead kind of stuff. So if you like that stuff and you think that that's appropriate for your kids, then by all means, go ahead. But if you think that that's a little too much for kids, then yeah, you might want to avoid that. So anyway, that's my feelings on Doctor Strange and the potential Fantastic Four future. Thanks for watching Comics with Drew, and I'll catch you next time.